Welcome to NDTV's special documentary on Julian of Norwich. Today we will be exploring her life and some of her contributions towards the Catholic Church. She contributed to the Catholic Church in many ways, in many powerful and wonderful ways. And in some ways could be considered as her prayers and her teachings. Over the next few days we will be going to a journey, a very informative journey, of Julian of Norwich, with her experiences and her contributions towards the Catholic Church. What she has deemed our prayers, and we will listen to them, and we will acknowledge not only what she has given us, but today's society and the contributions which she has made towards today's Catholic Church. Before we start on this wonderful journey, we must experience and know a little bit about Julian of Norwich. A great woman she was, born in 8th of November 1342. Her birth name is uncertain at the time when she was born. At the age of 30, while we are young, she was at her deathbed. She was going through a severe illness. Julian had a series of intense visions of Jesus Christ during her illness. They ended by the time she recovered from her illness on 13th May 1373. Julian wrote down a narration of the visions immediately following them, which is known as a short text. 20 to 30 years later, she wrote a theological exploration of the meaning of the visions, known as the long text, which practically just explains the visions. The short text was referred to her notes just taken at the time. They call it short text because it's not much in detail, but later on she decided, as she was feeling sick, and she thought these visions had to be shown around to the world, that they should be explained in greater detail. Julian of Norwich died during her anchorage at the Church of St. Julian, where she got her name from. Her death is a prolonged mystery, as we all know it to be a tragedy. Today we'll be joined by a medieval expert who will not only be acknowledging Julian of Norwich's artworks, her prayers and her contributions towards the Catholic Church, but who will be teaching us some of the things Julian of Norwich has taught the world. Hey, how you doing? So, Dr. Ryan, how do you feel about Julian of Norwich's contributions towards the world and towards the Catholic Church in particular?
Well, showings relate certain visionary experiences she had of the Christ during her illnesses in 1373, which reflect upon their significance and meaning. There are two different versions of the showings which exist, the short text and the long text.
Aha, I've heard about the short text. Isn't short text something which she wrote about before and later on she thought to put it into great depth of meaning?
Exactly. Well, the short text was just basically a summarized version where 20 years later she explained it in great detail. The showing described Julian's prayer while ill for three things: to know Christ's passion, to experience bodily sickness, and to receive the three wounds from God.
Is it true, Dr. Ryan, that Julian of Norwich had visions of Jesus Christ while she was ill and on her deathbed?
Yes, that's also true. The three wounds from God, as I was saying before, were contrition, compassion, a willing suffering with Christ and to remain with Christ during his suffering, and the longing of the will of God. The short text is more useful for devotional meditation, and the long text shows Julian's considered reflections upon the meaning of the visions and can be read with prudent caution.
So, Dr. Ryan, why were the contributions so significant?
Well, the contributions of Julian Norwich to the Catholic Church were significant, as they changed the way people viewed the relationship with God and us. Since her main beliefs focused on the views of Jesus and his relationship with God. She had written many books, but one of the most famous books was based on her intense visions she saw at the age of 30 while she was severely ill and her beliefs. This book was also called 16 Revelations.
Thank you for your time, and hopefully this has taught a lot about Julian of Norwich.
I'm always pleased to let my fans know how I feel about Julian of Norwich.
Thank you. Thank you. Today we're joined by a priest, Brother Anthony from our local parish. He'll be talking about Julian Of Norwich, who has contributed a lot in today's society. As you know, brother, what contribution has Julian Of Norwich affected on today's society and towards the contribution of the Catholic Church?
Julian Of Norwich has written many books which deeply explore ideas of relationship with God. Each of these books has had a major effect on the church today because they give a clear idea to the Catholic Church of how their relationship with God should be. Also, many of our prayers are recited in many churches, and as I said earlier, they explain what your relationship with God should be.
Thank you, brother, for a brief but concise explanation of Julian Of Norwich's contributions. Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
It has been a very long and insightful journey, this expedition of Julian Of Norwich. Hopefully you have learned by now some of the prayers, their contributions towards the Catholic Church, and thanks for everyone who's been a part of this brilliant documentary. Next week we will be going on an expedition in the American forest to look at some of the brilliant animals who have impacted today's society. Thank you.